The most overlooked part of the movie Jumanji is the fact that a large mansion went 26 years of having no one in it without it being robbed or broken into. Courage is knowing it might hurt, and doing it anyway. Stupidity is the same. I guess the only difference is the intention. It's so strange that in the real world we have animals that can spit acid, punch shockwaves, and even channel electricity, but none that breathed fire. Leaving your house 1 minute earlier or 1 minute later could drastically change your future. Apps not showing the time while you have them open is the same concept as casinos having no windows. The only part of a woman's breast that causes it to be censored is the only part that men also have and don't need censored. Light hits you at the speed of light and it doesn't even hurt. If you get too close to radiation in a comic book, you become Spider-Man. If you get too close to it in real life, you get visited by Spider-Man. 25 years ago we were worried about destroying trees, so we switched to plastic grocery bags instead of paper. Iverion's real-life K/D is pretty damn high considering how many bugs animals you've killed, and you haven't died once. There have been actual wars where tons of people have died so that the king can get new pussy. When movies show happy moments as montages, but the main conflict takes up the rest of the plot, it's really realistic. Some of our happiest moments go by so quickly, but our sad moments feel like the longest. 100 years ago it was something special when the food products were from abroad. Today it's something special when they're regional. Drone companies use drones to film their drones when they want to sell as drones. Humans probably didn't know that hair grows from the roots in the head and not the ends until somebody tried dyeing their hair. In the world of Harry Potter there have to be magical prostitutes that specialize in using polyjuice potions so the client can have sex with anyone they can get a hair from. We, the very species that practices euthanasia on many different animals for mercy, are the only species that we won't allow ourselves to euthanize for that same purpose. The nickname squirt for kids is actually really gross if you think about it. You've probably walked by a murderer or serial killer who hasn't been caught yet. Doctor Strange could have seen the successful outcome first, then watched his team die 14,604 times in a row for nothing. The weird, artsy loner usually gets the girl in movies instead of the jock, simply because many movies are written by weird, artsy loners. Somewhere in the world there is one penguin who is the most gnarly, hardcore, baddest penguin living by penguin standards, and to us it just looks like another chubby little bird. Many adults think that a lot of teenagers are going to have sex or consume alcohol in every opportunity, because that's what they would do with the opportunity of being young again. We are covered in an organ that can detect small fluctuations of output from a fusion reactor 93 million miles away. For the first time in human history, being skinny has become both a sign of wealth and of poverty. An electric device suddenly switching itself off feels totally normal, while an electric device unexpectedly switching itself on is stuff straight from a horror movie. I like to listen to podcasts while falling asleep. Yesterday I put a podcast on my iPad with a timer that automatically stops playing after the episode. Fell asleep and later woke up to a different podcast playing from my phone. Nope. Your grandparents are so much nicer to you than your parents because they recognize the mistakes they made when raising your parents. Edit. In response to those who disagree, this is based upon my experiences with my parents and grandparents. Your experiences may be different. The mark of good writing is that you are angry at the characters for the decisions they make, not the writers for having the characters make those decisions. Those choose-your-own-flavor Coke machines are probably just there to gather marketing data. They see what the most popular flavors are so they can release bottled canned versions. Somewhere a guy is sleeping over at a new girlfriend's house. He has fallen asleep and has unknowingly decided his side of the bed for the rest of the relationship and potentially marriage. In your 20s you're worried about what everyone thinks of you. In your 30s you make it a point to not care what anyone thinks of you. In your 40s you realize that no one was thinking about you anyway. Because spiders molt, every time you think you see a dead spider you might be looking at the skin of a live spider that is now larger than it was before. Also, earwigs can fly. Someone needs to remake Ignition by R. Kelly, because it's a really good song but he's a piece of shit. Also, I'm drunk at a wedding. If Leonardo da Vinci were alive today, the Mona Lisa would have gotten about 44 likes on social media before being buried forever on the internet. Whatever weird, embarrassing thing you do at home, your pet thinks it's normal because you are their only example of what a human does. Being ugly and saying you love yourself is inspiring. Being attractive and saying you love yourself is egotistical. One day our grandkids will dig through our old boxes of stuff, find our old cell phones, turn them on, open the photo library, and be absolutely horrified. When we're young, the doorbell ringing was an exciting event. Who could it be? Maybe a friend from school. As an adult, it is probably the most butthole-clenching, anxiety-inducing event to happen on any given day. Who the fuck is that and what do they want? It's fitting that Elder Scrolls games use the same few voice actors for all NPCs. It's like a dungeon master having to do the voice for all NPCs in a game of D&D. The porn industry is the only one where being an amateur is sometimes better than being a professional. Thank you for watching. Please press the like button and subscribe for more totally awesome comments read by yours truly. Bye.